All right. Hello again, everybody. This is the Realms of the Wild after show. We will do this every so often. I generally don't want to do it twice or after every episode. We have Alex here, and we don't know how often that's going to be. And that was a hell of an episode. I've got to say, from not only the GM, but from an acting perspective, and a storytelling perspective, you guys did some amazing things in that episode. You should all be very, very proud of yourselves. I think we got a lot of really, really good plot development into a really interesting to watch episode. So all of you guys should feel immensely proud of how well you just dealt with some very serious situations. So, that being said, question number one: why is Kiri Ilea?
Who am I?
Well,
I'm working on it, okay?
You're Alex! Come on, Alex is me! Oh, yay!
What you guys don't realize is these guys are actually figments of my imagination. Which is really weird because Kiri has had a YouTube channel and a YouTube presence longer than I've known her. So I imagined her before I even knew her.
Imagination
which
is
is
a
really
powerful thing.
Yeah, subconsciously, really.
Imagination.
So theoretically, Kiri is Ilea, and Ilea is Alex, and Alex is Kiri, and Elias is always Elias because he can't be anything else.
It's metaphysically impossible.
Yeah,
Just like our
Alex-
characters, apparently,
Alex-
there is only one of
or,
me in the entire
Elias-
multiverse.
In all realms. Alex exists in all realms. Like multiverse theory, Elias is kind of like the rock that keeps the multiverse together.
Which is really ironic because he is a rock.
Dear God.
It's one of those moments where you have to be like, oh my god, glasses off moment.
So, we do have our first question from the illustrious imp of my head, who is a curiosity. And if you don't know who those people are, those are the fans of Kiri's streams. She calls us curiosities because we are.
Because you're so full of wonder and amazement and you're awesome.
So the first question from imp of my head. Well, if it can be answered, does Kess remember the lady she dreamed about? Without getting into it too much, of course, yes, no will suffice.
Nope.
So
I remember nothing.
So that is your answer. There is a much, much, much more detailed answer as to why she doesn't know this figure in her dream.
I was a
that
baby,
you-
maybe.
Yeah,
Me too.
you may find out a lot about Cass. Like I said, one of my favorite things about this campaign, and one of the things I try to do when I run my own custom campaigns, is everybody writes their backstories of each other, and nobody shares their backstories with the other players, so that big reveals and every secret and every character can have motivations for themselves that the other players don't know about. And I think that makes for really compelling role playing, and I think it makes for really compelling storytelling. So, yes, I hope that answers your question. There is another question, this one from Emperor P. Remarkably enough, not about sacrificing Pierre.
Give it time.
Impossible.
So, if Kess could invent anything, what would she invent? As Kiri's brain just starts to explode with possibilities.
I mean, within the realm of like reality, because I do.
Well,
like to...
it's Zelda.
you
know.
No, I understand that, but I still feel like even in fiction, it's the little details that make it
Well,
real.
yeah.
So that because it's almost like what? Anyway.
But when you think about, I mean, they have, they have the ability, depending on the game, you can, turn into a picture and walk along walls. You can control sand. introduce a magical system that is as broad as it is in the Legend of Zelda series, there's a lot that you can go with. So feel free to limit yourself as much as you would like, or not limit yourself as much as you would like.
Feel like part of me want to be like, oh, she'd want something that could detect like where like all these hidden temples and stuff like that. Also kills the thrill of the search. So I'm gonna go with hands-free voice activated journal. Where she can just like turn that thing on without anyone
Doesn't have
noticing
to one-hand it anymore.
and just
So
exactly
basically,
none of this.
So basically, Alexa.
Yeah.
Kess is going to turn into that character idea. A man walking down the street with only one shoe. The Zelda universe has official motorcycles. Okay.
Yeah,
it
that's
does
true.
now. Yes, it has trains and motorcycles.
We don't
I don't
know
know,
how
Zelda.
I remember the trains, and I remember I hated that game.
It was not a great game.
It
They
wasn't.
recently added motorcycles into a good
As
game.
of-
Literally?
Literally
Yeah.
a motorcycle.
That's funny.
I
That's
am
funny
trying to
as-
figure that out exactly what the hell it means on Monday.
Imp had another question. If you had to guess,
Yeah,
how
so I
often do you think the
actually
servers have done things to
I
Zulta's food?
have an answer for that.
Okay.
And actually not that much, because Zolta has been kind of on her own and on the run for a while now, so she does know how to act proper certain establishments, but they've just gone to a new dimension and she's freaked out and she's kind of regressed to certain behavior as a result.
Mhm.
And there are reasons for that that I won't reveal, but if people did spit in her food, she is an underwater being. She's not going to notice a little extra H2O or salt in her food.
So, the other thing, like, due to the interactions that she had, she wasn't actually pissing off the wait staff. Like, for those of you that have never seen
Because there was no wait.
it's a really dumb idea to piss off your wait staff. I'm not saying that waiters and things like that, do things to your food, because the vast majority of them would never, because if it was ever find out, like, you can, not only can you lose your job, but there are health code violations that can shut down restaurants. So you do not need to be afraid of every single plate that comes in front of you.
That being said,
The
don't
service
be a
industry
dick.
is full of people. However, these are the people that control your food.
Yeah, don't be a dick. Be
Do
nice to
not.
people when you go out to restaurants.
Yeah.
Do not do as Zolta does in what we've done so far.
I have never understood anyone that pisses off
No.
wait staff. Like, it's the dumbest thing you could possibly do. They do control your food. Like, they have access to not, going to the extremes of waiting. If you've ever seen that amazing piece of film, but don't, staff. It's super stupid. They have lots of spices back there, lots of spices, and other things that they could do. And I realize that I'm painting this in a much more than the world actually is, but yeah.
I mean, I'm very much not like Zolta in that fact. I don't understand being mean to people who are bringing you food or other services. Like, let's just go forward in a positive, pleasant manner to people. Like, please, they'll probably treat you nicely back.
Yeah,
As
pretty
someone who works retail, yeah, that's basically my whole thing.
and they are for the most part, they are very, very good at their very underappreciated jobs. So, and it's about the service industry, because I have tons of friends that work in the service industry, and waiting on tables is by far the worst treatment industry. followed by retail is the other one where you just get shit on a lot. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Customer support.
Gonna
Yeah,
say Zolta
customer service.
deserves to
I've
be
been
locked
there.
up right now.
yeah. Anyway, so I have some questions for you guys since we're running out of questions in chat.
Well,
for a
I
few
did
moments.
see a question in chat from I think it's Green Eye Trombonist.
Oh
I
my
think that's how you
gosh.
pronounce
Oh.
it.
What's the question?
The question is, Miss Pierre, what song should we sing? You know, I think
Duel of
that's a
the
good
Fates,
question,
obviously.
Green Eye Trombonist. Yeah.
I'm fairly certain. Just a very simple, good old fashioned Queen tribute with "Who Wants to Live Forever."
I
You know
think
what?
there's
I'll
a
take that too.
significantly larger chance of Zolta being sacrificed before Pierre, to be perfectly honest.
I don't think it'll be a sacrifice. I think it'll be, we're done.
It will be straight up
We're
murder.
just gonna take care of this now.
Is it a
It's not-
sacrifice if
It's
it's
not
really
so much.
beneficial?
It's not.
No.
It's not so much you kill her as you just let her be killed. You know,
No, don't go into the
you
Guardian's line of sight.
just
Don't
stop
do that.
protecting her.
But that'll be when Zolta actually rolls well again in the combat, and then suddenly
Yeah.
everyone's dead.
Right, though.
So, for the cast specifically, first of all, how was your first experience with a guest? You know, did you guys have fun?
Absolutely the worst
You know.
guest it could have been. Terrible person in general.
I actively looked for someone that
I looked for
would
anyone
make
but
Elias,
only
make
had
Elias
him,
feel bad. I have a short list of people that actually have personal vendettas against Elias, who will all be guesting on the show eventually.
Perfect.
So-
I love it.
No, Don was awesome.
yeah, I mean,
He DMs my home game, and which is online, so kind of a home game. But he can play a character pretty well, and you know, I've met up with him a few times. He had expressed interest in this show, and so it was nice to. He was a nice first guest, I think.
No, yeah, I mean, because last week I wasn't here because I did have legitimate work. But when I watched him go on, I enjoyed what I saw, and then when he was actually like in character today, and like especially interaction between me and him, I think the way that he sort of brought out like he set up this really great interaction that he established even more here, and then we both built, and I think the way it went, I think could not have gone any more perfect. I think it was a really great moment, and I love like, dude, that was awesome. That was really cool.
Which,
so,
in a little bit, I'd like to get back because I think that was really one of the strongest scenes, and also one of the shortest in this. Like we played for about 2 hours, even with tech. We were on for about two hours at least. You know, I think that was from a storytelling perspective, is such a strong scene and such a pivotal moment, and it was so simple. That in just a second. However, Emperor P has another question. Again, not about sacrificing Pierre. Like I'm starting to think that Emperor P may not be himself.
no, he's not.
Maybe that's not bringing it up.
But the question is, why isn't Elias doing his 10 out of 10 Goron voice? I'm not 100% sure what that's in reference to.
Is it
so-
I think I know what.
Okay, so I used a version of Iruna to audition with for this game, and when you think of most Gorons, they're very sort of bellowy, very deep, sort of, you know, like if you've heard Daruk's voice in Breath of the Wild, that's how you pretty much imagine all Gorons to sound like. And so it was a combination of wanting to be a little different than the cookie cutter Goron voice, and also a part of it was considering how much I'm going to have to be thinking up stuff on the fly and improving, I don't want to add like a very kind of hard to do voice on top of that. And so I tried to find a good middle ground voice that I just try to use for Iruna. I tried to basically do a Daruk impression Goran voice for a radio commercial that Imper put together, which is probably what he was referring to.
Yeah, it was for a school project.
Yeah.
That he and I were. Then he basically went to me in the live. Was like, "Hey, I need you guys." Sure. Okay.
So, yeah, and Emperor P confirms the commercial voice. So going back to Pierre, you missed a week. You came back to unique situation to kind of give the audience an idea of what happens when these guys can't make it. Generally, I will have with them specifically, like what happened with Ilea the week that she couldn't make it, is she and I had conversations about what it was she would do in combat and things like that if I had to take control of her character. In general, in control of player characters, I don't like speaking for them because I want the choices to be the player's choices, not mine. Especially since I know so much more than they do about the world because I've created it. So Alex and I didn't have a conversation about what to do with his character. I just kind of said, well, you're going to be silent for the whole thing. And Don made a reference that I knew, because I know Pierre's backstory, I knew would have to get a reaction out of him. So I improvised something and then kind of let, actually right before we went live, to be honest, I let Alex know what had happened and the specific wording I had used. And again, I tried to be as I tried to be as reserved as possible in not stepping on his toes or doing something that might force him to make a character choice that he didn't want to. And luckily enough, in this situation, I made a character choice that he agreed with. Had that not been the case, I would have retconned whatever Alex wanted his character to have said. Again, this is their story that I happen to be making sure keeps going forward. But this is their story, not mine.
Yeah,
So,
when I came in and he was like, so that's what, I did do this one thing, and I heard what he said, and I heard the context, I'm like, ooh, I see some developing moments here that could be cool. All right, let's see where this goes. And I sort of use it as, all right, this has been set up. When I had a feeling like it was going to be like so I still was kind of like figuring out how Don's character was going. When he brought it up again, I was like, and I did my thing in my mind. As soon as I was like, we don't speak of that, and then I just sort of shut it down. Like Pierre just kind of stopped talking for the rest of that scene. In my mind, I'm like, all right, as soon as people start moving, I'm calling him and putting him aside. This needs to be a moment. Like, we need to have a conversation. I need to know when he knows. And like, I think it resulted in a moment that worked so well. Partly because I was like, I feel like this is a good point where we can start sort of reeling this in. Because you've kind of alluded to a bit of, like, Pierre's past a little bit. Just with, like, some descriptions. But I don't think we've ever had a moment of, like, oh. And I mean, we've had it a lot for cast Pierre yet. And I think this was kind of a nice time to, like, woo, let's start something.
And I'm hoping...
Aaliyah and I were very much like...
Yeah, we were out of character the entire time.
I know, it felt so good. I saw that in my mind, I was like, yes!
So sadly, that was probably not translated in the video. But
Yeah.
we were like losing our shit.
Yeah.
Now the video probably looked like...
I thought
Yeah.
Our video
from an
should be
audience
better now, by the way.
standpoint, though, good. From an audience standpoint, we got a lot of information
Yeah.
about
Mhm.
several of the character ones, whether the audience realizes it or not, whether
No,
the cast realizes it or not.
I was
But
sifting
yeah.
through chat, during that section, and chat was interesting because everyone was like, "Wait, whoa, like, does he have a what? Huh?"
Pierre has a past. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
And again,
Past. He has a past.
Yes.
and that was something. Again, one of the things Open Legends mentioned. If you go to openlegend.com, one of the things they mention at character creation is they go, okay, you need to do X, and then they also they talk about how to develop a backstory. One of the things that they mention is your character needs to have a secret. All interesting characters have aspects of their backstory that the rest of the party doesn't know about. Characters in fiction, in nonfiction as well, like human beings have aspects of their past that only they know about because they experienced it uniquely. It might just be feelings that they've had. It might have been a situation where they were alone, or the other person that was involved in the situation is not part of their friend group or something. But everybody has portions of their past that only they know about, that have very distinctly defined who they are as a person. The pivotal moments don't always happen with your friends. Sometimes pivotal life-changing moments happen when you're alone. Sometimes pivotal life-changing moments happen when you're among a bunch of strangers, and the strangers have no idea that they've just affected you. Lives connect in ways that we will never fully understand. So I like the aspect of this week was a really good week to basically, for the audience and for the rest of the players as well, to realize just the fact that these are real characters. You guys are real. You guys have very well developed, realistic, flawed characters, and you're now just beginning to find out that there are certain aspects of their life that they're very proud of, and there are certain aspects of their life that they wish will never come up. And some of the characters aren't even aware of these aspects consciously. And I like that. And I think it translates to really, really interesting entertainment. And I think it works well. So that the scene with Pierre and Brayak, or Barack apparently,
Biarrick
was very brilliantly done. Yeah. I was waiting for another version of the name to come up eventually. But yeah. By the way, Don and I had extensive email conversations like everyone else here where we helped develop his backstory. I did not catch on to Briac was a play on break until like in the game.
I'm just gonna point out we're
Like,
still
that
not
is
saying it
how
right.
Yeah. We're
Yeah.
not.
Brayak, I said like writing pronunciation, I still effed it up.
It was like
Brayak.
Don. It's one of the reasons why Don was the first guest. It's one of the
Don
reasons why
is a
he's
brilliant
one of my
guy.
buddies. He is
Don's
such a
great.
genius. He
Anyone-
really is.
Anyone who can really enthusiastically apply yes and to their role playing, I am all for joining in on the fun.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
what this is about, really.
It is, but you
Yeah.
still run into people who are like, no, and you're like, all
Yeah.
right.
So enjoy my yes anding, Jody, as it
Yeah.
fleshes out aspects of my backstory you had no idea
Yeah.
existed.
Oh my
Oh
god.
yeah.
I
I loved that bit. They had a kid named Quasimodo. They had a bit of a sixth sense of humor. I'm like, this is new information to me. I know everything.
Part of me was like, wait, where is this the real? Is this what?
I am, again, it was one of those things. It's like, wow, impressive. Like, it takes a lot. Like, you guys broke me a couple of times because you were
No,
funny,
there was so many
which
jokes.
is not impossible to do. To break me as a GM by to the world that I hadn't considered is a feat. It
can we
really
mark that
is,
down in our
because
feats?
Yeah, can I
sure.
get that?
breaks the GM. That's a new feat. Like I have mental issues and control problems, And so when I develop these worlds and stuff like that, like I know them like they're real to me. And think about like monetary systems and like economics. Like I could tell you they got the economics of the Zora Empire and how it differed greatly from the Rito Empire, and all these other things. I could talk about forms of government and trade laws and all these other things. I know how they all work, and for something so simple, I never even thought about it. I was so pleased that it happened. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
We also learned a lot about Iruna's backstory today. We now know he
yeah,
has parents.
We
yeah.
got things from
And
everyone's backstory today.
real love for River Rocks.
Real love
Yeah.
River Rocks. He sometimes has trouble going to the bathroom.
I now know that
Or
River
on
Rocks are
cuddle
apparently
piles for
I-
sleeping.
Yeah, cuddle piles. That was
Here's the thing. I love the fact that Aruna's character now exists as the diffuser, but now I comes to expect of every single thing of every time someone does something, Aruna's gonna have something to say, and I think now that I think it's a really great thing. I think there's a level of
Iruna
Well, I mean,
doesn't always know when to shut up.
you guys have this really great. You guys have this really great odd couple relationship where all three of Zulta, Kess, and Pierre are Felix, and you just have Runa always being the Oscars because you guys are.
I would almost feel the other way around.
Depends on the
Yeah.
conversation.
I feel like him inserting himself is like those moments of well, this is the moose calls at 3 a.m. in the morning, and
I guess you can make that. But,
I still maintain that monologue is one of the best in freaking comedic history. I will never forget. You leave little notes on my pillow. We're all out of cornflakes. It took me 3 hours to figure out that F you was Felix Unger.
I love-
It's so good.
If you have never seen The Odd Couple, like the actual stage play The Odd Couple, you are
it's
missing
great.
out. It is one of the greatest pieces of theater literature ever written. Lucky enough, I actually got to play as Felix years and years and years ago, and it was seriously one of the most rewarding shows I've ever done. It is so funny, and it teaches you. And being an actor in general teaches you about storytelling if you're a good one, and that show specifically teaches you so much about storytelling, and because there's so much of the show that sets up and then resolves itself perfectly in a way that you don't expect. Whether it's sight gags, if you have a really good director, there will be sight gags that set themselves up and resolve, and the audience will not realize that the setup is happening until the resolution. And then they go, "Oh my God, that was brilliant!" And that is the entirety of that show is just over and over and over these brilliantly written setups with these perfect resolutions and punchlines. They're just it's an amazing show.
Yeah, it's a
Good
great
stuff.
play.
And for the life of me, I cannot remember the author right now.
The author of it is Neil Simon.
Who was the play? Oh, Neil Simon.
As an aside, the Odd Couple theme song just turned into Phenomena in my head. So that's a thing.
Congratulations. I'm happy for you.
Yeah. I called it an aside.
They have
Not central to the conversation.
I think they call it the female Odd Couple. They have a version of it where
They have
instead
a
of
gender
Felix
bent
and
one.
Oscar, and it's
Lawrence
just as funny.
and Olive, I think. It's
Yeah.
basically almost the same exact.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same thing. They just changed the
tweaked.
genders.
Yeah, my sister
Um,
directed that version in high school. So.
And it's again, Neil Simon was a genius.
Neil Simon was
But yes, if you ever have a chance to see it, it's generally done in smaller theaters and stuff like that because it is a very intimate show. But it's so good. about theater stuff that I could geek out about theater stuff for hours. I really could.
I have a question for the DM.
Sure, let me go see if I can find him.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, what is your question?
My question is, can you please explain in detail the differences in the economic systems between the Zora Empire and the Rito Empire?
Oh my gosh! Look at that!
Follow-up
I gotta go.
question. Yes.
I am all right.
Please not do that right now.
I'm going to be very, very serious for about 2 seconds here. I'm currently 2 course stone from having a degree in marketing management. Part of that was I took 3 different courses in economics, and I love economics. I didn't know that I liked economics until I started learning about it. Fascinating. I really, really do. I can talk about Keynesian economics and supply demand curves and stuff like that.
Sounds fancy.
If you wanted me to, I am very, very serious about this. I can tell you about the economics of both empires. And the fact that one is a monarchy and one is much closer to a free market.
I just remembered that it's probably better to discover that kind of thing in game.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you guys that if you decide that you want to be, we're gonna make him. No, I'm dead serious about this. I know world economics better than some. I'm never gonna be an economist. That is not my calling. But it's something that absolutely fascinates me. And so, yes, we know how all of that stuff works. It's sad and it's crazy, but it's true.
Maybe when we do one of these and I'm not on colors,
It really is, economics really is fascinating. As much as it sounds like super boring, it isn't. It really is an interesting subject, and you can use the ideas of supply and demand and things like that to explain a lot of motivational choices, and psychology has a huge impact on economics. And it really is a fascinating subject. I know it sounds super boring, but
I believe that you believe it's fascinating.
I have a question for Kiri.
What?
Did your eyeshadow match your hair? Because on my camera screen, they look like they match perfectly, and I'm all about it.
Actually, okay, so no one else cares but you, I imagine. But this is
whatever.
Mulder's it's more of a coppery gold, so it's like a mix between hair and eyes. We'll talk later. I need to show you a website.
Okay.
Because
my eyeshadow is completely natural.
I have these lovely bags right under my eyes. They're Gucci. They cost me a lot of money.
Yeah.
My eyeshadow comes from the shadows of the light right in front of me.
I did take the first time I went to college.
Y'all
I
just jealous you don't have glitter in your life.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Totally.
You need more glitter.
I
majored in theater the first time I went to college, and I had an entire semester-long course on makeup.
Mm-hmm.
So
I wish I had that.
Makeup is
so
makeup
fun.
Artists and things like that are 100% ingenious, wonderful people that do amazing things.
I only remember
and
so
to all the
fun.
To all the women that spend 20 minutes or an hour or whatever, however long it takes you to do your makeup, amazing things, because I know exactly how hard it is to get. And stage makeup is so different than natural makeup. I have the utmost respect for anyone that puts on makeup on a regular basis.
Yep.
Yeah. Audience can't see it, but usually because these shows are so early for me, I get online for our video chat before we go on, and I'm still doing my makeup, and I've got a mirror right in front of me. I'm like, they don't care.
Same.
Everything's fine.
No, it's still literally how a lot of my stuff works.
I generally just a little bit of lipstick and then maybe some blush, and I'm good to go. Which I stole that line from John Delancey, actually, talking about playing Q, because he always had blue or purple lipstick on.
Speaking of before the show, this was our first 5-player game, and
Yeah.
we were forced
Maybe our last.
to. We usually use the Twitch app for video chat. However, the Twitch app only allows for 5 video feeds at once, and when you have 5 players and a DM, that's 6. So we tried to just go over to Roll20, and I had everything set up last night, and as people filtered in this morning, I just popped them in their place on the layout, and everything was ready. And then the moment we went live, everything just died. And it was a terrible, terrible, horrible death.
First
and then
of all,
We like
somehow Google Hangouts
really
kept the
did.
choppiness that usually goes away when I close OBS. So I had so much fun this morning during Iruna's
for
silent
those of you who don't
period.
know, Elias does the tech side of everything. Like he actually streams the game. Most games that I run, I stream myself. And we decided it would be best if I didn't stream this one, internet connection reasons, and the fact that Elias and the Zelda Universe team were able to create the very beautiful overlay. All of that was created. I think most of that was created by Elias. I think.
Yes.
So, yeah, like, please talk about how amazing and awesome much as you can, because he works his tail off to get this working. And we spent 20 minutes with everybody in Roll20 chat. Everything was working fine other than having to, and the second we went online, everything went to shit.
Oh, it was so bad.
Like, it was amazing just how bad everything
And
went.
I couldn't tell like if they could hear you or not, so I was in a mixed state of like, should I try to speak to the audience or should I let Jody speak? Or it was not. Yeah, I'm glad you guys enjoyed the game.
yeah.
I am glad for this that we decided that Elias would be the one streaming it, Jody, because with our last game, when you ended up cutting out, an amazing moment. So we wouldn't have had that if you were also the one who was hosting it.
Oh
Right.
yeah. The fun thing about that, my entire computer shut down at that point.
Did
Like,
it
I-
blue screen?
No, I would have preferred a blue screen, to be perfectly honest, because I can fix a blue screen. The entire computer just froze.
Yikes.
Yeah, every so often, like, I got my computer through iBuyPower. I will not stop complaining about them. I will never get another computer through iBuyPower again, because I've had nothing but problems with this. And I had to buy a brand new video card because their motherboard fried the one that I purchased with the computer. Like, that was impressive. I was really, really happy to see you guys be able to. And again, that kind of goes back to the idea that we have an amazing cast for this show. Like, you guys, we were very, very lucky to be able to get all of you guys to do this, because this is not as much as we have a ton of. Well, I think we have a ton of fun. I can't speak for everyone else. I have fun.
I have a terrible time.
This is this takes a lot of work, and this takes a lot of thought and everything. And you guys do beautifully every single week. So
Yeah.
Huh.
congrats on that.
100%. We started talking about this show early April. I
Yeah,
think.
I mean, it
That
was
when we
about
really
6
started
months of
doing-
pre-production, I think, roughly,
Yeah.
like 5 or 6 months of pre-production before we actually went live. So,
Yeah, it
like,
was
we
a-
really did work to find the best people we could possibly find. We got them to, for the most part. I mean,
And I-
we kind of had to deal with Elias.
You ruined my setup
Um,
of, and all they
but-
got was us.
For the most part,
He
Elias.
said for the most
being
part.
so
He,
nice.
he is.
I had to
about
get-
him.
Again, Elias and I have known each other for far too long. But
Yeah.
Most
I'm
people
pretty
I
sure
know at this
eventually
point I've known for far
Elias
too
is just
long.
gonna go, Jody, we're not friends anymore. We do a show together. Like, that's
Oh, so it'll
we're
be like
done.
me and John.
You don't need to be friends. You just need to be professionals, damn it.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's only one industry where that doesn't matter. No, that
Jazz.
jazz.
I think we've had
Um,
2 questions come up in
Emperor
the chat.
P. Well, one of them is Emperor P's question about where Pierre would be sacrificed. Emperor P, I'm not going to do that. Like
Thank
every
you.
time,
The dedication.
I'm just like, the joke was funny. The joke was funny at first. Like, again, I rib on Elias all the time, but I pick different things to rib on, not just constantly asking for his death. So,
Or the next season of
congratulations, you have killed the joke. The dead horse has been beaten to death again. Like, you resurrected the horse and then beat it to death again, and then continued to beat the dead horse.
And if you would like to find out how to resurrect the horse and then kill it again, you can contact Zolta. P.O.
Because
Box.
she has this thing.
What if Zolta turns
Please,
into the horse fairy in the game?
Speaking of fairies, we could totally bring that back.
I'm good.
How about it?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
There was another question. Elias, you mentioned there was another question that wasn't Emperor P.
Imp in my head, show question. Aside from these last couple eps, obviously, will special guests be a thing from time to time? Other characters?
Yes. Special guests. When we first started developing this, special guests was something that were going to be a part of this. We had an audition process. We had, I think, 9 or 10 people audition.
Somewhere around there.
Some of those people will return as special guests. I have a short list of people that I've worked with before. I think Elias also has a short list of people that he's worked with before that will show up as special guests. And there may be certain people that to us or we become friends with that we bring in for a number of reasons. One, I like breaking up the story a bit. Like the special guest we had today was a beautiful way to learn so much about the characters just by bringing in a little bit of fresh blood. And I think that's really, really great from time to time. It will not be an every week or an every other or every episode or every other episode kind of thing. This is still their story. But we intended to have special guests from the get-go. The other reason being, from a marketing aspect, we can cast a wider net if we have new people on the show. Like I'm going to be 100% blunt with you guys. We want a lot of people to see this show. We really do. We're very proud of what we've created, and so.
Hey, I thought that you wanted no one to see this show, and that was the whole point.
Yeah, if we wanted that,
I
we'd
was
stream it on
being
my
a
channel.
niche hipster for nothing. Ugh, mainstream.
So yes, there are marketing aspects to it as well. But the story is number one always. So you will see more special guests. They will not like Brayak. I can tell you right now, there are a couple ideas I have for special guests that will involve them having to create basically 3 separate backstories for their characters, so that if the players interact with them in a different realm, they will be interacting with the same person in a different realm, not someone that jumps between realms.
Oh my gosh.
So not all of these special guests will have the ability to jump between realms and things like that.
Oh,
Like,
jeez.
Again, the
That's
cat, the players are special in the fact that they can jump between realms. We established that this week. That is not a
Can't deal with
common
all of
trait.
this like positivity and yes, you're awesome. Like
Mhm. Well,
much.
you know,
It
I
did
said
feel
you're
a tiny
special.
bit.
I didn't special as in you are unique. I didn't see that was a good thing.
awesome
and you
as
guys are
in
just
full of
now-
awe.
You guys are just now starting to realize that it's theoretically possible the reasons that you are unique might be negative, might be positive. You don't know. But yeah. So short answer is yes, there will be more guests. Long answer is Brayak and a unique one. Other guests will have different roles that they fill in here. And as we more unique situations, like this has been a lot of role playing and kind of overland stuff. When we get to like dungeon crawling aspects, the tone of the show is going to change a little bit, because I am going to, like, Zelda is known for its puzzles. These guys are going to have puzzles that they have to deal with, puzzles that are going to require them to understand the kind of multiverse aspect of this setting. You know, I'm going to challenge not only the characters, I'm going to challenge the players.
So if anyone would like to send me
to really
Legend of
stretch.
Zelda games, please do so. Message me for an address.
A multiverse puzzle. That's great. That's
Yeah, I mean, I'm dead serious. I'm going to put, you know, puzzles in here. Every major Zelda game has had like a mechanic that it uses throughout the entire thing. I think it's relatively obvious that these 3 parallel realms is kind of our Zelda game mechanic, and it will influence how the world works. So
maybe
yeah,
we'll eventually get an Ocarina of Realms that we can just play, and it'll open a tear.
Just make them all from this game, and I'll be okay. I wasn't allowed very many games growing up. I had to buy that one used. So
I think that was the
that's
last
my sad
question
life
in chat so far.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. I hope you guys had a lot of fun. If there's any other questions, really, we'll answer one more in chat. I'll give 30, 40 seconds for you guys to ask them. But for the most part, like I said, I think this is probably the best episode we had so far. If for no other reason than Puppers showed up, and that makes any episode.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I'm pet sitting this weekend, so no one else is around to entertain her. So she's been freaking out.
You puppy! I am a huge sucker for dogs.
I think that Snicker should get a legend point, and I'll hold on to it for her. It'll be great.
But no, I think you guys did amazing and awesome. And to be honest, guys, again, the story is just starting. There's so much more that's going to be going on. That's the nice thing about Open. Really lets us focus on the story as opposed to mechanics that kind of bog down a lot of other RPG systems. And it really gives these guys the freedom to be as creative as they want in solving the puzzles that I'm going to be giving them. So if Zulta wants to solve, a puzzle by just draining the life out of everything, in the room, or, if Aruna wants to solve a puzzle by just making the biggest bomb ever and hurling it at a wall instead of trying to, figure out the complex, statue moving puzzle that I created. Like I'm waiting for the time where I sit there and I develop this really complex puzzle that's designed to like test the players and be logic and everything, and one of you guys just to go okay and break it completely. Waiting for that to happen. So
Emperor
looks like
P, I see your question.
That is the last question we had in chat, which, to reiterate, is why is Zolta the way she is?
That question will be answered in time. She is the way she is for a very particular reason, and we may or may not get to it in the game. That's kind of up to Jody.
Really quickly,
stay tuned.
When I asked you that question the second time, and then elaborated on it whenever you asked for it and said you didn't hear me, was that you actually didn't hear me, or was
I actually legitimately did not hear you?
Okay.
But I like that the idea that Zolta just went, well, I can't hear you, so it's time to go to bed. Yeah, we had multiple people talking at once, so I could hear that you were trying to say something, but I didn't actually hear any words come out in the form of a question. So I was like, okay, taking too long.
Going up to my shade room.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, as much the NGC, because these guys put a lot of work into their backstories. They really did. I am not an easy dungeon master or game master to play for, because there are a lot of my characters and a lot of my players, and these guys stepped up to the plate and knocked it out of the park. They really did. Such really interesting, nuanced characters, and every single decision that every one of them makes, as much as you guys don't realize this because you don't know what I know, deeply rooted in their life before adventuring. And even today, and I think this is the greatest part about role-playing games in general, is the whole point of the game is to watch them kind of deal with their lives and watch them grow and change. And today's episode is a perfect example of small, innocuous things can cause massive change in characters and in people themselves. So I think every single character, minus maybe Aruna,
We'll get
simply,
there. We'll get there.
This isn't a knock against Aruna. This wasn't Aruna's episode. Aruna will have life-changing moments.
There have been
this wasn't his episode.
Little bits and hints throughout the episode so far, but nothing compared to everyone else.
But I think everybody had some pretty big moments of character growth that will affect their character going forward. Just in this one episode, when you look at it over the lifetime of the campaign, really going to be fun. I think we're telling really good stories here, and I think a lot of people are really going to. Anyway, thank you so much for everybody that tuned in. Like I said, please Zelda Universe tag it hashtag Realms of the Wild with your favorite moment to give them legend points. Vote in the poll next week. Feel free to watch it live here, or you can watch the video on demand of the episode if you missed any of it. Is live, I think live right now, because we went offline and went back online. So you can watch that. Otherwise, it'll be on the YouTube channel next week. So feel free to watch it on the YouTube channel. We do watch. I go to the YouTube channel specifically to look for comments and stuff like that. I think I have answered almost every comment.
Yeah.
I am 100% a glutton for punishment. Answered almost every comment that has ever been posted on one of the Realms of the Wild videos. So feel free, if YouTube is your preferred way to watch us, feel free to comment. I will be watching. I will be answering. I accept constructive criticism, non-constructive criticism, whatever you feel about the show. Feel free to let us know. We love hearing from you guys. You really do.
I go through
and we're
like
constantly
all the
looking for new ways.
positive comments.
Yeah. And we're constantly looking for new ways for you guys to be able to interact with the cast and interact with the show. So,
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all for me today. I will see you guys next time. All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Let me pull up the transition and say bye.
Are we off?
Nope.
Hi everyone, you're still here.
Hang on. Just give me like
Follow me on
15 more
Everyone
seconds
say
and
goodnight.
just drag out the goodbyes.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye.